Tim joined me today because we got together yesterday afternoon to discuss what I was going to talk about on the radio with you, and he started rattling so much stuff off about the new retail area that I said, Tim, why don't you come over with me, because I can't remember what you just said. So here he is today. We're going to discuss. We'll hopefully be moving in about 4 weeks. We're going to have to close up for about a week to move our stuff in. But when that opens up, probably 30 foot of just shelving for just local Missouri products.
I tried I finally did it. I tried the blue cheese because I went in there to buy the ribeyes for Father's Day, right? And then they were like, no, Steve says he wants you to have one of these. He wants you to try I think we tried pizza, which was amazing.
These are the bratwurst you're talking
Yes. And then the blue cheese. And even I liked the blue cheese and bacon. And again, the men folk in the household, which besides me, that's all there is right now, they were all like, get that stuff. I'm like, it's blue cheese. And then the other one was the pizza. That was really good too. But they're all really good.
Well,
so
we're bringing out this weekend, you ought to come in and try something new. We're doing some mac and cheese bratwurst.
Are you kidding me?
No. Macaroni and cheese bratwurst.
And I'm going to have to try the mac and cheese. Just all kinds of fun things you do with bratwurst there at Williams Brothers Meat Market.
Who would have thought, 38 years ago when we had a case of fresh meat case and we had breakfast pork sausage, breakfast bulk pork sausage. We had our traditional brat and maybe zazitza. Now there's 60 kinds of flavored brats.
I know it. Well, that's a big deal, a big deal. And now I know that you've been doing construction because I'm driving up and down Fifth Street all the time, and I'm always looking and I'm wondering what is going on behind those doors. And Tim, apparently you're the dude who's going to be able to tell us more about it.
Right. Well, Uncle Steve, he's, aside from helping the customers all day long, he's got me stocking shelves, and I'm in charge of bringing new product in. And we take a lot of pride in local, right? So over the past, many years really, but now that we're going to be taking on about 2.5 times just the floor space, just for retail items alone, we're sourcing a lot more local Missouri-made products. And, you go across the board with what that can be. Like right here, actually in Washington, Missouri, we carry a local line of jams and jellies. That's Pappy's Gourmet from downtown. Have you heard of that one? So
yes.
So they're on the shelves. That's a good one. We got Fazio's Ravioli out of St. Louis, and a lot of items actually off the hill. You got Cusimano's frozen pizzas. You got Dogtown's frozen pizzas.
Breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs, too.
And he's got a whole line of Italian products that have taken off. I don't want to make anyone mad here, but I think a Cusimano's frozen pizza might be better than a Hot Emo's pizza on a Friday night.
Okay.
So it's just something to consider. Next time you're in, take a look at these pizzas. And I don't want to get anyone mad. I know we're in Emo's town, but they are good. They are good. And then there's also local honeys. There's local pickles out of Fenton, Missouri, 2 Men in a Garden. You have the Tickle Me pickles. That's out of Troy, Missouri. They got extremely hot pickles to just your regular mild dill pickle. Kind of something for everybody there, and they're excellent. And then something Uncle Steve started carrying out of St. Louis a couple of years ago that's really taken off, is a product called Goose Poop. Have you heard of that one?
Yes. I have. No, my husband loves that. I'm like, I can't get past the name, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, the name helps. The name catches people's eyes, and we'll give it a try. And then they're hooked. It's a spicy relish that could just be good on one of our bratwurst, or it's a good spread, right? Mix it with cream cheese. And so that's something fun we carry. And then it's summertime. People are wanting ice cream. We got a whole line of honey ice creams. Those are out of St. Louis, Uncle Steve,
I
believe.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so, a little bit of everything. And then it keeps on going down to the salsas. There's local made salsas, hot sauces. There's a whole line out of Springfield, Missouri. It's called The Grove. They have a whole line of like taco sauces that go from mild to, once again, extremely hot. And then the salsas. So right now we have about room for half of that line, right? And so with this expansion, we're going to be able to bring on the full line of things on that new site in a couple, weeks now?
Yeah,
maybe a month.
Hopefully for about 4 weeks we'll open and running over there.
So you're going to have then, obviously, what you have now is you go in and you have a small area where people could sit and eat, not super big. And then you have the counter, and that's where everybody gets the meats and whatnot. Now, when you reopen, just in terms of space to do those two things that customers do, one, sit down, grab a lunch, sit down and eat it right there is one. And the other would be, okay, you're going in and you want to get, not only the meat behind the counter, but whatever else you have on the shelves. Just in terms of size of the layout, what are you looking at?
What we actually doubled our size with taking over the western part of the building, and with that, we'll only add a cutting room and a drying room for cooler space. Other than that, if you can picture the building we were in, the rest of it's all retail and dining area.
Well, and there was a whole spa that was in half of that building. So that's quite a bit. And it goes back pretty deep, too.
Yes. You're going to see all that when you come in. It's really wide open. We wanted that with our old location. We had a lot of product in a small spot. So it's kind of going to open it up. We got the dining area separated. So when you're eating, you're not in the way of people shopping. We're going to have a separate checkout counter now. So when you're checking out, walking out the door, the west wall's just full of new display cases where we can put a whole new line of, like Timmy was saying, pizzas and ice creams. There's going to be a lot more space for people to shop.
Now, let me ask you this. Okay, you were talking, I want to go back to the bratwurst for a minute, right? Okay. You were talking about macaroni and cheese brats. First of all, I need a description of that goes beyond the name. And also, how do you come up with this stuff? Who's coming up with these ideas? And what makes it to the cutting room floor and what doesn't?
It's amazing when you're sitting around drinking some beer after work, what you come up with. And we came up with the idea of beer and onion brat for a long time ago, but it always seemed to be just turned out onion brat because the beer never made it into the seasoning.
Yeah, right. So who came up with this mac and cheese, and what is it like?
Well, the macaroni and cheese broth, that came up, like Uncle Steve, we probably had mac and cheese that night in a cold bud. Well, why not put this in a bratwurst? And you actually do have your cut pasta sections in your German-style brat. You still have your base seasoning. And then there's kind of a cheddar blend, a powder, right? More of a sauce. That way that binding stays together. That gives it your macaroni and cheese flavor.
So how do you rate it? You've obviously tried it. Have you both tried it?
I've had the opportunity. It's eating a bowl of macaroni and cheese.
Is it?
I think it's even better than that.
That's got sausage in it. Have you ever got macaroni and cheese and cut up a bratwurst in it? That's what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like good stuff. Now, barbecue season's still going on. To me, the middle of July is the middle of the summer, really. And plenty of people still barbecuing. What are your hot sellers now, besides the brats, besides the hot brats? And the meats with the bone in. I tell you what, I'm so glad you guys do bone-in ribeyes, that they actually have those again, because I personally am a big fan of meat in the bone.
They were putting some in the case when we left this morning, and those are all naturally dry-aged. All of our steaks are. We got some beautiful New York strips, which are extra trim, so you don't have to worry about the little gristle on the end. That's all been removed. Those are popular. One thing with all these new fancy grills that are out there, all these smokers they got, the pellet grills and all that, we are doing an extra meaty baby back rib, and that's really becoming popular. We automatically peel the membrane off for the customer, and those are taken off really well with the extra loin meat on there.
And you got people coming in to smoke these ribs and briskets, and they're going to come here for a good cut of meat. But it's fun because I always get to recommend, well, what type of barbecue sauce should go with this, or what type of wood pellet am I putting in my...
What kind of seasoning?
What kind of seasoning?
There's all kinds of rubs we have.
Right.
So you guys are also can consult for those who may be wanting to figure out how to use the grill or how best to use it. And then for people like me that are just complete cooking morons, it's okay. You'll explain it, which is kind of nice.
Yes, we try.
We'll do our best.
We try.
Yeah, that's right. There's certain levels of not good at it that, you got to cross. But how can people find out more, and, I know you have a really good website that's got a lot of things on it. You can order off it. What is that website? Where's your location? All that good stuff. And what are your hours?
Our hours are from 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. We get out at 4 o'clock on Saturdays, and, of course, closed on Sundays. The website is Williams Brothers Meats, all spelt out. And for the last, 38 years, it's 607 West 5th Street, Washington, Missouri, 636-239-2183.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us today. Steve Williams, Tim Williams, Williams Brothers Meat Market. Thanks so much for coming in.